everyone, Jared here, and this will be a controversial video, I'm pretty sure. What I'd like to talk about today are these two games right here, and that guy right back there. So, if you can see what this is the PlayStation 4 version of Dragon Quest XI, and this is the 3DS version of Dragon Quest XI. And I wanted to talk today about why I believe that this particular version right here is actually the better of the two versions, and why I feel that basically Nintendo and or Square-Enix skipping out on this game is one of the biggest losses to Dragon Quest fans in North America and in Europe in decades. I actually think this is a gargantuan loss for the community, and that's what I wanted to talk about today, and why I believe that, and why, whatever. So first things first, if you don't know, the content between these two games is identical in a lot of different ways. The story is 100% the same between the two versions. This version is one of the nicest looking video games ever created, and this one is not. Okay? No one is going to argue with you over that, at least not me. This is going to appeal to the masses. There's no question about that. If you had to focus on one version to bring in new blood, I kind of understand why you would go with this one from a marketing perspective. People like the big graphics and the pizzazz and the hoo-da. People like that. The thing is, as a Dragon Quest fan, this particular one right here is just incredible. In fact, I'd go as far as to say at this time, this is my favorite game on the 3DS. This is one of the greatest games ever released. And I thought I would go into why that is. So if I just told you that both games feature more or less they do. They feature the exact same dialogue, the exact same story, same cinematic sequences, and all of that. So then what is it? Well, if you've watched any of my Dragon Quest XI content through the last year and a half, you will know that the 3DS version contains a significant amount of additional content. And that content takes place in the form of that guy back there, which is a Yochi. And there is a Yochi Village that is exclusive to this particular version. And the way it works is really, really simple. Again, I've done videos on this, but to make a long story short, essentially you find those guys out in the wild in this particular version of Dragon Quest XI. You can recruit them, and they have different ranks and they have different classes. And what you can also do is create your own and trade that out through Street Pass to all the different players that you might stumble upon that are playing Dragon Quest XI and that have their Street Pass feature turned on. So in North America, that means you're not going to run into anybody, right? So you have to find them through the progression of the game, and you're looking for A rank and S rank Yochi. But all the guys that you would find in the wild through Street Pass are going to be of higher rankings. So it just means it takes a lot longer to do for a guy like me to import this game and to play that. It's just, that's all it means. So what happens is you eventually will get into this little mini game where you'll go through left and right on these giant maps trying to make your way down and unlock these little scrolls. And these little scrolls unlock quests that teleport you back to Dragon Quest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And 10. So all 10 Dragon Quest games, you're going to go back to some of the original areas. And why is that important? Well, it's important because, without spoiling anything, the story featured in these games directly ties into the Erdrick trilogy, or the Loto Roto, however it's pronounced, trilogy, i.e. the original trilogy, okay? Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3. So while you're playing through the game, as you unlock some of this content, you actually go back to the past and you get to experience these sections of these games as they originally were. So you're talking Famicom graphics, Super Famicom graphics, PlayStation 2 graphics, PlayStation 1 graphics, etc. Okay? And that's awesome. Like, it's awesome because it's building that internal nostalgia you have as you play the game. And then when you beat the post game, it's revealed to you how like all of these things are actually connected. And you sit back and you're just like, wow. And that's why I've been saying that this is the best game on the PlayStation 4. And it's why I said that this is the best game on the 3DS. It's because of that nostalgia. It's a great game in its own right? Like, it's a very good game just in and of itself. But when you tie that in to the nostalgia of playing the rest of the series, I haven't played a game like this in forever. And I don't want to spoil anything, but just the credits alone are awesome. Just awesome. This whole game is just filled with nostalgia. And it's like, even the commercials for the game in Japan were asking you, do you remember what it was like to be a hero? And I think that is incredible. And when you couple all of these things together, that's only available in the 3DS version. So while you do get the nostalgia from this version when you get to the Calamity event and afterwards, more so in the post-game content, that's where you start to feel it. Like, you really start to feel it. But it's with the 3DS version where it's almost instant. When you unlock Yochi Village and you start to go and find them in the world map, that by the time you get to the post-game content and the after-credit scenes and all of that, you realize, like, holy crap, man, like, my nostalgia strings or my heartstrings have already been, like, tugged on, that I'm so ready to see what's next, you know? And you feel like you had this whole entire, like, journey that is really exclusive to that version. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. And a lot of it, ironically enough, has to do with the graphics. So while the PlayStation 4 version, I probably said 3 a couple of times now, I don't know, I say the weirdest things sometimes, but the PlayStation 4 version is gorgeous, and it looks like an evolution to what was on the PlayStation 2 with Dragon Quest VIII. And again, beautiful, stunning, an amazing game. But what really separates this one from the PlayStation 4 version is the fact that you can play it in a style reminiscent of Dragon Quest 7, 8, and 9 on the DS/3DS. So you get that sort of 3D look, but you also get the 2D aspect. And that's what's so unique with this version that the other one does not have. You can play the entire game as if this was a Super Famicom release. Pixel art, baby. Not that cheesy, crappy stuff that you see on mobile all the time. We're talking legit, beautiful sprites. And I'm actually starting a new playthrough of this right now, going through the entire game in 2D, because that's just how awesome it is. And I get it. I totally get it. Is that going to be for everyone? No, of course not. Not at all. But in my opinion, what you get with this version is a more complete package than what you get on the PlayStation 4 version. And it's why, of the two versions, I consider this to be the better version. So imagine how I feel when it's announced that the 3DS version will not be coming to North America. I haven't felt like this since Dragon Quest III was announced for the Super Famicom. What do I mean? So, when Dragon Quest V and VI were announced and then eventually released for the Super Famicom, I was devastated. I was just like completely devastated because I was like, this sucks, we're not getting them in North America, we're not going to get them in English. Same thing with the remake of Dragon Quest 1 and 2 and the remake of Dragon Quest 3. Why I say this hurts me sort of like Dragon Quest 3 and not like 5 and 6 is because 5 and 6 didn't come. You are getting Dragon Quest 11. You know what I mean? So it's not the same feeling that I have because you're getting it. If this wasn't announced, then I'd be like, well, here we go. It's just like 5, 6, and 10. But you are getting a version, and it's a great game. Like I keep saying, I don't want to dissuade you from like picking it up. No, buy it. It's amazing. But with this one, it's almost like the remake of Dragon Quest 3. because it contains so much extra stuff, and like I say, you get to play it in 2 different modes. It's like with Dragon Quest III, it was already out. You could already play it on the NES, the Dragon Warrior 3, but you didn't get to play the most advanced version of Dragon Quest ever released on the Super Famicom. And with this one, I sort of feel like I got that similar sort of feeling where it's like a lot of you guys are not going to get a chance to experience this, and in what my opinion is like the better of the 2 versions because of all the reasons I said. And I think it's such a huge loss to the community, the Dragon Quest community. And, you know, I tried to rationalize this to myself, I really did. I tried to say like, well, maybe it's because, you know, Dragon Quest X wasn't released here. Dragon Quest V and VI weren't released here on the Super Famicom, so people might not understand that. But at the end of the day, the truth is that I have no way of sugarcoating it. It sucks. It really sucks that this isn't going to get released in North America. And I mean, the other thing that I like about it is if you live a busy life, this one's really easy to experience. You don't need to be near the TV. Now, granted, this one I'm fairly certain is coming to the Switch. I'm sure it's going to be this particular version. Part of me is hoping that we get some of the stuff from the 3DS one, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be a straight up port and maybe a few new things thrown in, which is cool. I mean, that's cool and all. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I just want to do a quick video talking about why I think, because I had a lot of comments from people like, why are you saying that the 3DS version is better than the PS4 version? And, well, it's because of what I just said. It really comes down to the fact that you could play it new school in 3D or old school with the entire game redone in pixel graphics, random encounters, the whole thing. Plus, you get to experience all those old areas and you get a really fun, cute little mini game and the Street Pass stuff. All of that combined is amazing, and none of that is in the PlayStation 4 version. But with the PS4 version, you do get these stunning visuals. So, that's it. Just wanted to say why I felt that the 3DS version was the superior version of Dragon Quest XI. And with that, I'm going to go cry in the corner now because it's really unfortunate that so many of you will never get a chance to experience Dragon Quest XI on the 3DS. But for everyone, please go buy Dragon Quest XI on the PS4 because it's still an amazing game. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you in the next video.